More people have walked on the moon than have been to the bottom of the second deepest place on Earth. Today, 5 spots in or under the ocean where no human being has ever physically stood. Let's start small. Then we go deep. Number 5. The Dragon Hole. Off the Paracel Islands in the South China Sea, there's a near-perfect circle of dark blue water sitting in the middle of a coral reef. From above, it looks like a giant pupil. The locals call it the Eye of the South China Sea. It's about 130 meters across, and it plunges 300 meters straight down, 3 football fields, vertical, in the middle of an otherwise shallow reef. For years, it was the deepest known blue hole on Earth. And here's the thing. Past about 100 meters, the water runs out of oxygen, completely. Below that line, no fish, no plants, just darkness, sulfuric water, and microbes that don't need air to live. No human has ever been to the bottom. We sent a robot in 2016. It mapped the walls and came back. Cave divers can't make the descent. The toxic chemistry would kill you long before you reach the floor. So we have a 3D scan of the inside. We do not have a person who has stood there. Local legend, by the way, says it's where the Monkey King got his magic cudgel in the old novel Journey to the West. I'm just saying, when sailors invent a myth about a hole that goes down forever, sometimes they're not entirely wrong. Number 4. The Gackle Ridge. Most mid-ocean ridges are warm, well-studied in the Atlantic. The Gackle is not one of those. It runs between Greenland and Siberia, almost entirely under the Arctic ice cap, 5 kilometers down. Permanently sealed off by sea ice you can't get a research ship through. To study it, you basically need an icebreaker, then you drop equipment through the ice, and then you hope nothing breaks. Here's why it matters. In 2003, scientists found something they did not expect: hydrothermal vents, active ones, black smokers like the Pacific ones I covered last video, but in the freezing Arctic, sealed off from the rest of the world's oceans for millions of years. That isolation is the interesting part. The animals living around those vents have been evolving in their own bubble, with no contact with anything else, for an extremely long time. Robotic submersibles have brought back images of microbial mats and creatures we can't quite categorize. But no human has ever been to the Gackle Ridge, not one. We're studying one of the most isolated ecosystems on Earth through cameras, on a screen, from a ship 1,000 kilometers away. Number 3. The Tonga Trench. Everyone knows the Mariana Trench. It's the deep one. We'll get to it. Almost nobody knows the Tonga Trench, which is the second deepest place on Earth. South Pacific, near the islands of Tonga, bottoms out at around 10,800 meters, only about 100 meters shallower than the Mariana. Here's the wild part. The Mariana has been visited by humans something like 20 times now. The Tonga Trench? 1. A single human descent, ever, by Victor Vescovo in 2019 as part of his 5 Deeps expedition. That's it. 1 person. The second deepest place on the planet, and 1 human has ever been to the bottom. Everything else we know from sonar and a handful of robotic probes, which means there's a Hadal Zone ecosystem down there. Pressure of around 1,000 atmospheres, total darkness, just above freezing, and we have basically no idea what lives in it. And the Tonga Trench is one of the most seismically active places in the entire ocean. Underwater volcanoes we haven't mapped. Whole sections of the trench wall nobody has ever looked at directly. We have 1 footprint there. It belongs to a guy in a titanium sphere, and he was there for a couple of hours. Number 2. Lake Vostok. Okay, technically not an ocean. But hear me out, because what it is a body of liquid water sealed off from the surface world for 15 million years. Under the ice of central Antarctica, 4 kilometers straight down, there's a lake. Roughly the size of Lake Ontario, about 250 kilometers long, kept liquid by the geothermal heat below and the insulating pressure of the ice above. Nobody knew it existed until the 1960s. A Russian pilot noticed that one specific patch of Antarctic ice was unusually flat, like there was something fluid underneath, smoothing it out from below. There's also, by the way, around 400 other subglacial lakes scattered across Antarctica. Vostok is just the biggest. That water has been completely cut off from the surface biosphere for 15 million years. Whatever leaves in it has been evolving in total isolation for an unfathomable amount of time. In 2012, a Russian team drilled almost 4 kilometers through the ice and supposedly broke through. They pulled up a sample. The sample showed bacterial DNA, including at least 1 type that didn't match anything in any known database. Then it turned out the sample was almost certainly contaminated by drilling fluid. To this day, we have not directly sampled clean water from Lake Vostok. No human has been near it. We have the equivalent of a really expensive straw poked through 4 kilometers of ice, and we're still arguing about what came up through it. And here's the part that should put a chill in your spine. NASA's astrobiology people are paying very close attention, because if there's life down there, in conditions that mirror Europa and Enceladus, Jupiter and Saturn's icy moons with subsurface oceans, we are about to learn something very, very important about whether life elsewhere is possible. Number 1. The other 95%. I know. You wanted a specific spot for number 1. Hear me out, because this matters. Last video I told you we've explored about 5% of the deep ocean. That number is real. The Mariana Trench gets all the attention because it's the deepest. 27 people have been to the bottom of Challenger Deep, more than have walked on the moon now. We've done it. Check that box. But the Mariana is one valley. The Pacific has dozens of trenches. The Atlantic has the Puerto Rico Trench, 8 kilometers deep, almost entirely unexplored. The Indian Ocean has the Java Trench. There's a place called the Diamantina Trench off Australia we've barely looked at. And every time we send something down, we find something new. The Schmidt Ocean Institute discovered roughly 100 new species in 2024 alone, from places we already had on maps. The picture I want you to walk away with is this. We have stood on the moon, we have sent rovers across Mars, we have flown spacecraft past the edge of the solar system, and on our own planet, the one we live on, the one that's 70% water, we have meaningfully explored about 5% of the deep parts. Imagine if a doctor said, I've examined 20% of your body, 5% thoroughly. The rest, I assume, is fine. You would not be reassured. That's where we are with our planet. 4 specific places and the giant unmapped majority that's bigger than all of them combined. The thing I keep coming back to is just how recent all of this is. Gackle Ridge Vents, 2003. Dragonhole's actual depth, 2016. Subglacial lakes, confirmed only in the last 60 years. Entire ecosystems we knew nothing about within living memory. We're probably wrong about a lot of other things too. We just don't know which ones yet. Thanks for watching and subscribe if you liked the video.